My grandma actually is the one that told me that I was a star. My grandma is a very spiritual Lola. She knows how I would look at and watch TV, and she knows that my eyes were always just so big whenever I'm watching something. I guess in a way, my grandma told me that I was going to be a star. And one day my manager was like, Brett, you have a meeting with YouTube. And I was like, okay. And I get into that meeting, not prepared for anything. I really was just like, I thought it was just going to be a general meeting with YouTube. And they were like, hey, we have the budget to give you a show. Like, what show did you want? And I'm like, oh my God, girl, you can't just ask me what show I want. Like, off the bat, I think I'm going to have a show for you. I was like, you know what? I want to go to the jungle, and like I lived in Hawaii my whole entire life. I've never gone camping, and I said that to them as a joke, not thinking that they would take me seriously. And girl, tell me why 1 month later they were like, yeah, so we're ready for your new show, and we're filming it next week. And I was like, bitch, I was just joking. I did not think y'all would actually go through, like, girl. And when I tell you, I was so shook because they came in with a whole full storyboard, full drawn out of where I'm gonna be. The plan was all of that. Like, I was like, oh my God, I was just joking. I think one of the lessons that I learned on the last night that I was there, because truthfully, I was so over it, but I just kept thinking about how when I was a kid, this is all I wanted. I'm so hungry right now. I have no sleep. I'm so tired, but I was so grateful for every emotion that I was feeling that night, because I'm feeling all of these emotions, but there's also a camera right in front of me. And that experience taught me that, like, girl, as horrible as you're feeling right now, like, you're living your dream, Bretman. This is an opportunity that, like, you were wishing for. Kids that look like you are still wishing for today, and you're out here complaining because you're in the fucking jungle for a week. And don't fucking act like you didn't grow up in Lalo, Cagayan, and Sanchez Mira, Cagayan, where you're literally surrounded by grass fields and rice fields. Don't act like you did not grow up in nature. No one forced you to be here. You don't need to be here. You're doing this because it's your dream to do this. I think I was really scared to speak out when I was really young, because I'm not the most eloquently spoken person in the world. Sometimes I really do speak what's in my mind, and sometimes I have the right intentions, but I don't have the right words. I think something just snapped in me one day, and I told myself, like, Brett, do you realize that just because you're scared to talk about something, and just because you don't want to talk about it, that you are technically a part of the issue, because you don't want to open up these conversations? If you're not talking about changes that you want to see in the world, then you are a part of the problem. And so I think when that clicked in my head, I was like, bitch, let's start a fucking revolution. If there's one thing that my Filipino culture taught me, is that you have to hold yourself, you have to carry yourself with humility and compassion for other people. I felt the calling, and I felt like there is value in my voice, and I'm very appreciative that people my age find value in my voice. And I'm still getting used to it. I'm still getting called out sometimes to speak out on things. But I feel like I just need people to realize that I have so many flags I have to wave. I have to speak out on my Filipino culture. I have to speak out on LGBTQ issues. I have to speak out on what's happening in Hawaii. And I also have to speak out on what's happening to nature, because I love nature. I fucking love turtles, girl. And sometimes, like, I'm absent on certain things, but that doesn't mean I'm not speaking out on what I believe in. I would say just because I figured out who I was really early on in life, it does not mean you're late. It does not mean you're ever going to be too late. There's a time for everybody. And really, all I can do as a gay person is to encourage them to come out. I cannot make people come out. I can only encourage you. And there's a reason why rainbow represents the LGBTQ community, because as fucking hard as it is growing up gay, brown, an immigrant, there is always, and I don't mean to fucking quote Miss Catriona Gray, but there is always a silver fucking lining. You know what? Silver is cheap. There is always a golden lining at the end of the motherfucking rain, okay? There's always a rainbow at the end of the rain. Take your time. We are all in our own schedule.